All right, I think this is a good time to start our webinar. I'm sure more are coming in, but we just wanted to follow the schedule. So first of all, hi everyone. Thanks for joining us today for this webinar on scaling lock ops with Agentic AI. As localization demand continues to surge, teams everywhere are facing pressure to deliver more projects with fewer resources and increasingly complex content types. That's where Zaya comes in. So in today's session, we'll introduce you to Zaya, our Agentic AI copilot, purpose-built for lock operations. Here's what we've got lined up for today. Part one, we have a quick primer on Agentic AI in localization. Think of this as your Agentic AI 101. Part two, we have a product demo of Zaya, currently in beta stage, where Ula here is going to showcase its capabilities in action. And then we'll wrap up with another segment from Ula on how roles may transform in light of this new technology. I'm Sarah, one of the product marketers here at XTM, and I'm happy to be co-hosting today's session with Ursula, aka Ula, our solution and in-house product expert. We're both really excited to guide you through this discussion and to share what XTM's been building. Before we dive in, just a few housekeeping items. Your cameras and microphones are turned off. The chat function, unfortunately, isn't working today, but don't worry, we can still, you can still reach out to us. There should be a question panel on the top right. So, please submit any questions in, and we'll try to address as many as we can towards the end of the webinar. And yes, this session is being recorded. We'll send out a link afterwards so you can revisit or share with your teams. So let's get started. Now let's take a moment to unpack a concept that's been creating a lot of confusion in industry. What exactly do we mean by Agentic AI Copilot, or in general, Agentic AI? Well, let's first start with the difference between AI augmented workflow and agentic workflow. As you can see here, an AI augmented workflow is what we're most familiar with. The workflow structure is typically linear or rule-based. The autonomy for the AI is low. The LLM does not plan what comes next, and the AI rule is pretty much supportive, right? It only drives one or more steps in the workflow. Humans still define every step and sets the rule the workflow follows. So an example here, you might have a step in your process where the LM estimates translation quality, maybe even give suggestions for fixes, but it routes to the next step based on the rules that you set up. In an agentic workflow, this represents a major shift in how AI interacts with localization processes. Workflows are flexible and adaptive. Autonomy for the AI is mid to high, depending on how you set it up. So the AI takes a central operational role. It makes decisions, it takes actions, it orchestrates complex tasks on behalf of the user. And the human role here is to set the goal and constraints and approve when needed. So AI can act autonomously, but within some boundaries. So let's take this example here. Let's say that you give the AI agent or agents this goal. Translate this campaign into 5 languages. From that instruction, the agent can analyze the content, create a tailored workflow, choose the appropriate MT engine, score the output quality, and so forth, right? So it determines what to do next based on perhaps past outcomes, the goal, and the predefined constraints. So let's recap here about what we've learned so far about agentic workflows, right? They operate from the back end. They're triggered by system events or maybe schedules. They learn from past outcomes without needing to be reconfigured manually. But in order to get there, realistically, we're taking an intentional first step to introduce the Agentic AI Copilot instead. Why? Well, because we want to create a human-in-the-loop model where you can interact with AI agents to prove or intervene where needed. Also, we want to make Agentic AI accessible to non-technical users via natural language. There's no coding, there's no orchestration needed. So basically, the Agentic AI Copilot can listen to user feedback, user input and feedback, acts and improves with usage, right? So having this layer in place is crucial. It lays the foundation for agentic workflows, right? Enterprise-ready agentic workflows down the road. So now that you kind of get a sense of what agentic AI copilot is, there's also another common misconception that we want to clear up. So an agentic AI copilot is not a fancy chatbot. There's a clear maturity model here when it comes to AI bots, and let's walk through it. The first one here, you might be familiar with this, you use this all the time, and it's the LLM only chatbot. It's a name that we have. I don't know, there might be a proper name for this, but so at the most basic level, this can answer general, like for instance, best practice questions when you ask, when should I use TEP versus MTP, right? So in this case, their response is based on general training data. So is it helpful? Yes, it is. But is it relevant to your workflow or to your current project? Does it really know all that? Not really. Now comes the next level, which is a RAG chatbot. RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. These bots can query live databases or document repositories. This means that they can answer questions like, in this case here, what's the due date for the Japanese UI project? They give an answer, it's currently in review phase. So this is a big improvement, but it's still reactive. It responds, but it doesn't really reason or act. Now, at the next level, which is what we are building, is the Agentic AI Copilot. So you can see here that it's connected not just to the database, but to other tools. So what that means is that it does everything a RAG chatbot can do, but goes further. It reasons with the data that it receives, it suggests next best action. It can also go on to take approved actions within the system. So for example, in this conversation going on here with the Copilot, how's the German legal doc translation going? Review is in 3 days overdue. Would you like me to ping the review, right? This is just an example of many other use cases that an agentic copilot can deliver. So if you're still trying to figure out like, hey, what did I just learn here? I do have a quick rundown of all these different so-called bots. So in summary, with Agentic AI Copilot, you're not just asking it for help, you're also delegating work to it. So instead of, can you list the files currently marked in review in the system, you can ask, which files are stuck in review and why? Instead of, has vendor A worked on similar tasks before and how did they perform? Because I'm trying to figure out, if this is the right vendor, you can just simply say, please assign this task to the best fit vendor and let me know why. So basically, the Agentic AI Copilot helps you to deal with constant stream of micro decisions and manual tasks you deal with every day managing complex projects. So it combines insights, guidance, and actions. And with that, I will hand it over to Ula to share more about what we are working on today and the progress so far behind Zaya, which is now in beta stage. So Zaya is our own Agentic AI Copilot. The stage is yours, Ula.
Thank you, Sarah, for the introduction. Okay, so let me introduce you to Zaya. Zaya is our agentic AI. It's a new generation of embedded and conversational AI. It's built directly into both XTM and XTRF. Zaya acts like a smart co-pilot, like a personal assistant across localization operations. It helps project managers, vendor managers, accountants to automate repetitive tasks and surface hidden risks and guide the decision making across projects. And instead of endless clicks or manual data gathering, analyzing, or reactive firefighting, users can simply ask Zaya what they need, and Zaya can offer solutions from project creation, project monitoring, to vendor selection and cost control. Basically, Zaya helps teams to deliver more with less time. Okay. Now let's see how Zaya works. Okay, Sarah. Okay. Okay, so Zaya is a strategic layer in XTRF and XTM, and it orchestrates multiple agents, AI agents in the system. It has a conversational interface and turns your requests in natural language into jobs for AI agents. It allows you to speak to the system. It's intelligent. It surfaces insights and recommended actions using LLM reasoning and predictive analytics. Zaya is embedded. It carries out tasks in XTRF and XTM, and they are approved by you and within defined guardrails. It's also context aware. It understands context from live data. It's personalized to user role and permissions. So Zaya provides context-aware real-time decision support and tasks execution inside XTM and XTRF, helping teams streamline operations without scaling resources. With Zaya, it's no longer that much about automation and connectivity, because this is already a must-have in a TMS or a TBMS. Now it's more about intelligent orchestration, supporting the decision-making process. It's important to emphasize that Zaya doesn't replace the need for human judgment. It just facilitates the decision-making. Let's now take a look at some use cases for both XTRF and XTM. So Zaya can help you by removing the need to go through different modules, displays, and fields when you want to perform certain tasks in the system. So these are just several use cases that will be available in the closed beta that it's coming up with the next release of XTRF. End of this month. Our team is working on more use cases, so there's much more to come. So here you can see project creation, project updates. This can also be bulk project creation and updates. You can simply ask Zaya to create a project, and it suggests a pre-filled project workflow, languages, estimated deadline, your top vendors for this project. And this is all powered by insights from similar projects from past projects. It can also monitor the status of the project, like monitors live progress, detect some potential delays from vendor activity, and triggers a risk alert with some next steps to take. Zaya can also help you with the product as such. So it can help you access information about the system. It provides step-by-step troubleshooting, shares links to resources, and escalates to human support if needed. This is helpful when you onboard new employees, and yeah, so they simply need to learn the system that they work. Zaya can also help you with providing a list of overdue invoices and can help you track and monitor the payment status of your invoices. Now, so as I said, this is what's coming with beta. There is much more to come, but let's just take a look at some examples of the use cases of how Zaya works. So the first one is queries about projects and deadlines. Zaya is a multicolor circle, as you can see. It already does have some predefined prompts that are ready to use, the most frequently asked questions to Zaya. So you just need to click on one of the prompts, like show me overdue projects. You can specify for which client, for example, or you can add more details. And Zaya simply lists the project which are overdue, and you don't have to go to different dashboards to check the status. It's just enough to click on the link, and you can go to the project to see that the deadline is already, it's past the deadline. So there is some urgency here that we need, some action that we need to take. You can ask Zaya to show projects with some deadline, for example, for a specific date. Like you don't have to spell correctly, like you can just type in Friday and it will know what you mean. You mean Friday. So Zaya will search through the system, through the database, and will list you the projects with the deadline for this Friday. right? So you again have got the list of projects. We can go inside and see the deadline. Okay. Then if we want to um, see specific information, let's say you want to see which projects are most profitable or least profitable with certain ROI, like in here, you've got ROI above 35%. You just want to see those projects. So no need for any filtering, for searching. Zaya will list you the projects that meet the criteria. We can check in the finance section of XTRF. The ROI is actually above, much above. Okay, so this is one of the use cases. We can go to another, like this one, bulk project creation and updating. And in this example, we can ask Zaya to create a project or several projects. If you want to create several projects, like for example, create 5 new projects for a specific client with source languages listed here. So some of them are the abbreviations, some of them have the full name of the language. You don't have to be very specific. And the target language can be, let's say, all European, official European languages. You don't have to enumerate them. You don't have to specify which those languages are. Zaya will know that. Even if you have a spelling mistake, like here, it's not a problem. Zaya can handle that. And let's see what the result will be. So what we've got now is already a list of the newly created projects. We can go to the project, see the source is French and the target languages are all the European languages, so it matches the criteria. We can see on the list, there is the list with 5 newly created projects. Each of them has a different source language, and they all are to be translated into all European languages. If we want to do some updates to those projects, we can do that in bulk as well. So update the deadline, for example, and the deadline should be like for the end of this week. Again, Zaya can do it and confirm the action. Once it's done, we can simply go into the project and see the result. So the deadline is set. Well, the video was recorded last week, so the end of this week was actually last week. So this is what we've got. Yeah, so there's much more to come, as I said. And yeah, we can move on to another slide. Now let's talk about the XTM use cases. So these are again to be available in closed beta, which is coming up with next release of XTM. So there are just several of them. The project prioritization. So with this one, Zaya ranks projects based on urgency and impact and forecasts potential bottlenecks or resource shortfalls. We can check the project status and we can monitor live progress. Zaya can detect potential delays or overdue tasks or unassigned tasks and can trigger a risk alert with some next steps to be taken. And again, in a similarly to XTRF, Zaya can serve as a project knowledge base, product knowledge base. It can serve to help you to provide some step-by-step troubleshooting and can share resources and escalate to human support when needed. This again can help with the onboarding of new project managers who can easily, with the help of Zaya, learn the system and will know how to work in it. Let's take a look at those with some use cases in action. So we've got the first one, project prioritization. Again, the colorful or circle, which is Zaya, can be asked. So what are my top priorities today? So that's one of the existing prompts ready to use. And we can already see there are several projects listed that the system knows that should be treated as priority. We can go inside the project to see what's the current state, what needs to be done. And actually, Zaya also provides us the reason why this is the priority. So we can see that here the job is not started, but the project is due on July the 27th, right? So we need to go see, yeah, there is no assay need. So again, now we can assign a linguist and go on. So this is easily accessible. We don't have to search for such projects. They are already ready for us to just take some action. Okay, in the next one, we can see yeah, it's not this one, documentation queries. So this is how we can ask Zaya, like, how can I create a project in XTM? So let's say I'm new here, I don't really know how to start. Zaya will summarize how I should work, what I should do, what I should look at. We've got links for specific documentation in the system. So there are some articles that explain in detail how we should work in the system. How can I manage vendors in XTM Cloud? It's another question for Zaya. And again, Zaya can analyze the database and can provide the answer ready for us, providing also links to the knowledge base that we can use, go deeply inside the documentation to learn more. Okay. Yeah, so actually these are the several use cases that you can see in our beta that it's coming. And now we would like to share some thoughts on how we perceive the evolving role of localization teams in general, not only regarding our products, regarding Zaya, but basically yeah, about agentic AI in general. Okay. So basically, we expect that setup of workflows and rules will not be needed by project managers that much. Agentic AI can handle that. Project managers will just need to approve the suggested workflow. So there's no need to navigate several dashboards, modules, or views individually in order to analyze data and to make decisions. Using a copilot as a single interface will be enough, and the orchestration underneath will give us the necessary information and suggests for the next steps. We will not have to spend time reviewing and analyzing data in various parts of the system to determine how to act. With agentic AI, we will simply receive those insights and recommendations, and your job as a project manager is just to make sense of it. We can ask how the agentic AI came up with these recommendations, and we can approve it or take some more action if we don't approve the recommendations. Um, and the last one, monitoring. So before we would have to go to different dashboards to see if there are any issues, some risks. And with agentic AI, you are notified by the copilot. So that's the future. And you are less offered, and you are offered the suggestions for the next steps whenever there is an issue. So there's like less time on execution and more time on on making decisions. Um, Basically, agentic AI will not eliminate human project managers, replace them. We need humans to guide the AI agent and to make that final decision. So we don't want yet to give AI agent full autonomy. Basically, we should expect enhanced, faster decision making thanks to the help of the AI agent. We will have, and basically thanks to that, we will, as project managers, we will have more time for other activities, like, for example, nurturing relationships with our clients or providers. Okay, so that's, I can hand over to Sarah.
Okay, thank you, Ula, for that thoughtful perspective. It's clear that agentic AI doesn't just change the way how we work, but it also opens up new possibilities for what we work on and where humans can add the most value. I want to also point out before we go into the next section that for those of you who joined in late, in case you don't know, there is a question panel on the top right corner. So if during this webinar some thoughts came to mind, some questions came to mind, you can most certainly add those into that question panel and we'll address them very shortly. But I just want to make sure that you're aware of some additional resources that we have at your fingertips. So first of all, like there are other AI powered features available within the XTM platform. And we do have put together an interactive product tour that explores these different AI features, such as the newly released intelligence score, which is automated quality scoring, as well as language guard, which is a harmful language check. And of course, our smart context, which is an AI translation engine that's fine-tuned with your translation memory. These are also interesting things that would be useful to your operations as well. So I think we're going to share the link to this tour in the chat if we haven't already. And of course, we'll send it to you after this webinar in a follow-up email as well. So let's now also do something else here. So if you would like someone from sales or customer success to follow up with more details about Zaya, right? I'm seeing some questions in, so there seems to be some interest. We've made it easy to let us know. So a quick poll is going to pop up now. Okay, yeah, it's already popped up. And basically, the question here is, would you like to receive more information about the Agentic AI Copilot Zaya after the webinar? Yes or no, please feel free to let us know here. And the right person, we'll make sure the right person gets in touch with you. So we're going to leave this poll open for a bit to give everyone time to respond. In the meanwhile, while that is running, let's move into Q&A. We've seen a few great questions coming in already, so thanks to everyone who submitted. I'm going to hand it over to Ula, who is best positioned to answer them. So Ula, feel free to take this.
Okay, there are some questions, so let's go through them. How does the AI agent know my data? Is it stored and processed externally? AI doesn't store customers' data externally. It just uses internal tools to access the data when needed. Okay. The system is undergoing constant changes. How can an AI system know what is the state? Okay, so basically your Zaya works. Zaya works specifically on your XTM or XTRF, and it uses API to obtain the required information every time you ask Zaya on anything. So it doesn't catch any data. It just requires API connections for dashboard insights and agent-to-agent orchestration. Okay, there are more questions coming up than I can answer, but okay, the next one, how can I know it will not perform risky operations or share sensitive information? Okay, so the Copilot's operations are carefully controlled based on user roles. That's important. We've implemented strict safeguards to ensure that the agent cannot perform risky actions like deleting projects or accessing sensitive information such as user passwords. Each user role is assigned specific permissions inside XTRF and XTM, and thus limiting the range of actions that the agent can take. Okay, can I define specific rules so that it takes them into account, for example, when creating projects for specific customers? So this functionality is currently not available in beta, but this is a recurring question, I would say. We are actively exploring that for future releases. Our team recognizes the importance of customizable rules tailored to specific scenarios, such as project creation for particular customers, like in this question. Yeah, we are currently gathering feedback and conducting research to understand the most valuable configurations for users. Mm. Is the agent the same for XTRF and XTM? Does it perform the same actions? If we use both systems, can we use agents for both systems? Okay, so that's the use case where we talk about clients who have both XTRF and XTM, and we are talking about integrated systems. So yeah, basically there is a separate Zaya for XTRF and a separate one for XTM because they work specifically for those systems individually. When we talk about integrated systems, well, in that scenario, XTRF is the main system for managing projects. So I think it's good to start from the XTRF Zaya for the queries and for helping with the decision making on the management as such. But of course, both are possible as well. Okay, there are some more questions coming. Not sure if we have more time. Let me have a look. Yeah. Okay, will the presentation be available after the webinar? Sarah, I think it's a question more to you. How we are speaking.
It definitely will.
Okay. Okay, is there information about Zaya in the XTM user guide, or will this be available after the new version of XTM is released? I'm sure that we will have the documentation, the proper documentation, once we release Zaya in beta. That's more a question for our product team, but basically I would say yes, the information will be available in the database. Okay. Okay, will Zaya be available to XTM users, or is it limited to PMs and vendors? Not sure what is meant by XTM users. Basically, both PMs and vendors are XTM users, but for now, Zaya will be available for project managers, not for vendors, if this is what you mean, right? So I cannot answer if we will have it available for vendors as well. No, it's too early for that, but definitely for now, Zaya will be for project managers. Okay, there are some questions that I'm not really sure exactly what the answer should be, so that should be directed to our product team, who will come back to you with the proper answers. So I think that with the questions that we have, all of them will be answered, not all of them right now. Thank you for your questions. They were really interesting.
Thank you, Ula. Yes, I've noted down we didn't get a chance to answer all of your questions, but we do have them recorded. So we'll have a sales and CS rep reach out to you with the right information needed. Again, if you had indicated that you'd like to receive more information. Otherwise, stay tuned for more updates, either from marketing or product side around Zaya. It's an exciting project that is of high priority to the business right now. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone for joining us here today. We know that your time was valuable, and we're thrilled that you chose to spend a part of that with us. So if you're curious about the next step and want to, again, explore Zaya and didn't get a chance to respond to the poll, as always, you can always respond to the follow-up email we'll be sending, right? So there's never closed communication channel. It's always open. So anyways, until next time, take care, and we look forward to sharing more updates on Zaya. So hope this was very informative. Have a great day.
Thank you for your time. Bye bye.